It always comes to this. More nice shit. Morning guys, back again to do another tattoo progress update today. Where I last left off, I had been rambling about my unfortunate TikTok account loss. That's still ongoing. It's now been a week. I haven't heard anything back from TikTok. And as we get past 5-6 days, I start to be wary of it, and I start to think I'm probably not going to hear back from them. I probably have some scar tissue, mental scar tissue over my Instagram, where that account never came back, and not only did that account never come back, but I never got an update. I've been in a 24-hour review for the last 6 months, and it's getting close to the point now where if it doesn't get resolved, it will just be deleted. There is a time limit on how long you can appeal decisions. And so for now, my account actually still exists, believe it or not, but it's pretty much a done deal. They haven't reviewed or checked into the appeal by now. They're probably not going to. And once it trips that 180 days, that'll be the end of it. I think it's actually been 5 months, so around 140 days or something. But anyway, same thing. The TikTok appeal is supposed to be done in a week, and it's been a week today. I haven't heard anything from them, so the likelihood is that that's not going to happen. I've already taken steps to figuring out how to move on from that, though. The main thing I was worried about was comment replies, but I think I've figured that out, because they are a vital part of my Instagram and YouTube as well, and I don't really want to lose a leg of my my content. Whether you like those shorts or not that come up in the afternoons every day, they generate a large amount of revenue, and they have the most pull for new subscribers. So that's the main reason that I make those, is that's where most people find my channel. It has been for the last few years. Most of those things net me between 10 to 20 subscribers each video. And then those people become fans of the Remy Reacts, and they watch the vlog and interact with the channel in other ways. So that's the main thing. It's not even really for me about the money part of it, because those videos are worth, on their own 20 cents to a couple dollars. It's not like they're, worth quitting your day job over. It's just about being able to find new people to consume this content, and also to spread my message farther about tattooing over black. And the rest of social media has been trying to make that very, very hard on me. It's been crazy that me spreading a message of hope and showing people what can be done over tattoos has been as polarizing as it has been, but that is the case. So with that said, I've rambled long enough about that. I don't really want to talk about TikTok anymore. I just had to give an update. I had this rose sleeve fully redone again, all the color done and some of the black again last time. I didn't actually talk too much about that, but when we originally sat down, we didn't plan to do the red again. The red was already kind of doing what we wanted it to, and that it was darker. I actually think it was good that we did the red again, however. It was pretty thin in places, and a second pass never hurts any color over black. Some of this stuff is like almost too bright now. The blue, the turquoise that we used is like super bright. You can see where it's darker here on the side of my hand where it hasn't fully peeled off yet. It actually gets a bit brighter once it peels, because what happens is the top layer of skin is the color that's mixed with the black, and then when that sheds off, you get the real color underneath. We also hit up all the black in the leaves here. That hadn't been done more than once, and there were some spots that really needed touch up. That wasn't because the black fell out. It was because, as one can imagine, I have fairly dry skin, not just because it's been tattooed a million times, but also the climate here in Alberta, southern Alberta, is very, very dry. For example, when I went to Kelowna it was like moist, you know, it was humid. I was like oily. I'm not used to that climate, so whenever you're in a different climate, your skin adapts or tries to. Here, it's arid. We're like in a desert. It's super windy. Our winters are super dry. We don't really ever get rain, and that makes a big difference on tattooing as well, because the drier someone's skin is, the harder it is to tattoo. So um, when someone's skin is naturally more hydrated, you know, this is an MO. You should be drinking lots of water just in general. When someone's skin is super hydrated and open, it takes ink easier. Go figure. When you're dry, it's tougher to tattoo someone. With that said, I lotion myself every day, but even then, you still got to get dry spots living in a climate like this. I've got one back here. I just felt. Generally speaking, the overall texture of my skin is the same as it ever was. When it's healing, it's a little crispy, but that's the case for anyone. So, for example, all of my non-tattooed skin feels like it did before. It might be a little thicker. There's always a chance that, you know, as my skin has thickened up, it's been gradual, and so I haven't noticed it all at once. Same thing people have asserted about my conches, like they've affected my hearing. I've had people just straight up tell me, no, they've affected your hearing. It doesn't matter if you know or not. It's like, okay, boss. Yeah. But I mean, that could be the case. It's just that I did these things so gradually that whatever the result of doing so was minimal day by day. And so I would always recommend doing most things in life kind of as a marathon or bit by bit, because if it is the case that you're going to get some kind of a change of experience, you're not going to have it all up front. You're not going to notice it right that day. Like, say, you punch a hole out of your ear and now your hearing is fucked. Whereas if you gradually increase the size of a hole, maybe there is some impact, but it's felt over the course of years, and so you don't actually perceive the hearing loss. And that's just how humans work. We're always acclimatizing, and kind of every experience is relevant or relative to what our last experience was. So it's the same thing. I have thoughts on that with tattoo pain as well. Most of it is mental, and if you've got a lot of mental callus, or you've got a strong mental game for pain, you still physically feel the same amount of pain as anyone else. It's just that because you're so used to it, it doesn't register the same way to you, or it's no big deal to you. You always can go back to that meme of the girl who broke her thumbnail, and it's as big a deal as it is the guy who's got swords all over him or stuck in him. You know, whatever we're experiencing is valid in that moment. And so not to take away that it hurts some people more mentally, it's just that it is mentally. You know, if you throw me in lava, I'm going to feel it. If you stab me 1,000,000 times with needles, I'm going to feel it. It doesn't matter if I'm okay with it. I am experiencing pain. With that said, I experienced a little more pain. Rick and I sat down for a decent session. He needed to work. He's been out of work. He's been sick. So he put in a decent effort on me. He really wanted to get my elbow saturated. The yellowness of it, the shine of that callus has been driving him crazy. And it's probably bugging him more than me, if truth be told. Because some part of me believes that no matter how much color we pound into this elbow here, that callus layer is going to show through again at some point. You can see it here. It's maybe even worse on this arm. That's saturated. It's been saturated ad nauseum, but that callus is strong. You know, it just is. So it's not bugging me that much actively. I wish that we could get those things covered better. But the problem is, I think it may get worse the more we hit it, because I think some of that could be scar tissue now. And scar tissue gets worse the more you work on it, in some cases anyway. And so if you keep hammering something over and over again, you know, it's only going to take so much. And my elbows have probably been tattooed more than anyone's on the planet. I'm pretty sure that that's easy to see at this point. how many fucking times have I hit my elbows even just the last few months? I think I've done this one 3 times in the last month and a half. And this has been done, I don't even know, it's probably 3 or 4 times on this sleeve alone. And you can see that we're going to need to get in there again because there's some spots that he didn't go into. But he hammered it pretty good. And it had enough. But it took pretty well. It didn't swell much. I don't have any swell bow. There's a bit of a pain when I bend. But pretty minimal for how much we did. So then we also got back into this claw here. And I actually think that that might be finally the last or second last time we have to hit that. That skin didn't want to take in there. This whole chunk of my arm is pretty thick scar tissue. I'd never lie to you guys. These are some of the worst spots on me. The inner bicep / ditch on this arm, and then my right hand. Those are pretty much the most scarred spots on my body. But you can really see how all of this works now. When you look at it at a glance, it looks connected. The parts that we tattooed in my ditch last week, they stayed more or less how they were. They didn't really darken or lighten much. I still think we need one more pass through for this stuff in here. But obviously we're not done yet. We're 44 sessions in now. So it has now actually been over a year since we started working on it. I think we started working on it at the start of March, and it's the start of April. Start of March of 2023 to the start of April. So we've obviously missed some weeks, and there were a few times where Rick did my head, and we had one more session on my chest, I think in July last year. So this chest has essentially been completely finished since I think last February, but we just did one session on the brain here in July to thicken up the pink in there. I'm looking forward to doing more on the chest, to be honest. I think this thing can easily be upgraded now. It's been sitting untouched for over a year, and none of the colors have changed. So when you go back and you hit them again, it's going to be like anything else that I've done that with, where it's just super reactive to the color, and it goes in really, really easily. So yeah, I think a few sessions would go a long way on the chest piece right now. With that said, next week, Rick and I are planning on coming through. I think he said he wanted to finish this guy again. That'll be the third pass. Some of this is already third pass in here. So that's going to be a really strong color. He wants to finish up this claw. I think he said he wants to do the red again in some places because some of that's only one pass. And then he wants to work on the hand again. But Rick is talking more ambitiously about this now than I am. He thinks that we've only got, wow, who knows how many sessions left, but he thinks that we're closer to the end than we are, in my opinion. I think we've got another 20 sessions or so. I did expect between 60 to 80, so it would be on par for what I think. But I think Rick is thinking it might be closer to 5 to 10. But I don't think so. I think that's optimistic, and I have a lot of gas in the tank for it still, so we'll see. I do have a session coming up with Terry this week. It's going to be a bit of a surprise. I'm very excited about it. It's been one that I've been meaning to do for a while. I just didn't have the plan right, and now I do. It's going to be something a complete departure from what I have been working on, and more or less a one-off. So that's always nice when you can do something in one session, especially when I'm talking about 44 sessions on a sleeve, 24 sessions on a chest piece, and my ever-evolving rose sleeve. With that said, I have, I believe, 3 sessions left before we start my back piece, Terry and I. So within a month or so, I might take a week off. But within a month or so, we'll be working on the back piece, and that'll be, again, one of my biggest projects yet. So lots to look forward to. But I'll be talking to you guys again soon. Have a great day.